Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Water Cooler. I am Sarah from Texas, and this is our place to chat all the latest celebrity news, if there is any. I mean, Justin Bieber, I guess. Reality TV, 90 Day Fiance, and of course, today's Jeff Lewis Live since they were off for the holiday yesterday. I assume a lot of us are getting a cold front this week or today. We definitely have a lot of snow here in Texas, which is South Texas. I am used to, like Dallas, the Panhandle, whatever, getting snow, I guess, but we don't get much snow here in Houston. And this was a lot of snow, like the powder, the pretty stuff. You know what I mean? So Luna Boona Tuna got her first taste of snow and she looked at it, walked outside, peed, walked right back to me like, let's go back inside. Now, when my two teenagers woke up a little bit later, they got on all their snow gear and they were like, oh my gosh. And they went and ran outside with her around and it was so cute. So she was excited for that. But, the first go around, I was like, really? That's all you got for snow, Luna? Like, serious? Oh, she's laying. I love when dogs do that. She's like laying on her back with her little feet like this. Looney. Oh my goodness, she won't come to me. Anyways, I hope you're having a great day. We had a day off yesterday, but instead I did, I think, my first Ask Sarah from Texas podcast. So it was a live chat where we talked all about the weight loss shots, the GLP-1s, the G1Ps. I am learning so much from a lot of you have been very honest about you're trying the weight loss shots. It worked for you. It didn't work. Where to get them from, the prices, the side effects, the nutrition, the things we need to take, the collagen, all those things. What's that word? Not nutrients, whatever, you don't know about the things you need to help yourself with. Anyway, so I really appreciate that. Is just one part of my life that I can't imagine not sharing with y'all. As you know, I started Wegovy 0.25 last Monday night. Today is Tuesday. I did not take it last night. And the only reason is because while this is day 9 of the very lowest dose of Wegovy, I'm still noticing this amazing, miraculous, it's not self-control because it's not me. It's the medicine, something that's able to help me not overeat and to pick healthier choices. I promise you, to me, it is like eating to live instead of living to eat. And that sounds so cliche, but it's the only way I can explain it. And I know this is an issue for everyone that needs to lose weight or that struggles, but the food noise thing was an issue for me and I'm realizing it. And it was really, it's not, I guess it's appetite suppressant, but it's just, it's freeing. Like I'm not thinking about food nonstop, which is just so freeing. Because as I said yesterday, when I would make a healthy choice, I would be like, oh, this is good. When I would make a bad choice and get an ice cream from Marble Slab, oh my gosh, and they're $12 now. The Marble Slab it's the best, with the bowl, with the dark chocolate, with the Heath bar, and then a scoop of this blue Oreo cookie dough. I don't even know what it is. It's blue, bright ass blue. You get unlimited toppings for free. So I add mini marshmallows, chocolate chips, and Oreos. When I tell you I had done that on a couple of different errands, I crossed the Marble Slab. I passed the Marble Slab going to pick up my Walmart grocery. And if I was going at like 7, 8 o'clock at night, I would never normally eat that late. The last few months, every once in a while, I would stop in there and get me a $12, I don't even know how many calories, Marble Slab deliciousness. And now it's like, I've got this Baskin-Robbins ice cream birthday cake in my freezer. I haven't even touched it. It's like I see it. It's just like a non-event. We're not here to talk about that today, but it is part of my life. And I just do want to share everything with y'all. And I really do just, I'm glad people are talking about this and just taking the stigma away because it's just so much different. Yeah. So Tiffany Chump says it's an appetite suppressant, but it's different than a diet pill. You don't feel wired and jittery. It's just so different. So anyways, I am going to switch it and probably start taking it Wednesday night or Thursday. Not that I go out all the time, But if in general we go out, it's going to be more the Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday. You know what I mean? So I noticed for me on that 1 week, those first few days were really, whatever, really strong appetite suppressant. The studies, I guess, are showing like you lose 50% of the effect after about day 5. Well, like I said, I'm on day 9. Um, I just I don't feel sick. It's not even like I can't overeat. I don't want to. It's just like a light switch went off and it's doing what it needs to do. And y'all, this is medicine. This to me is very similar to cholesterol medicine, to cancer medicine. We don't just say, oh, you got cancer, just that's your journey, just go on. No, we say, here's the medicines to fight this. If you have cholesterol that is not reacting to a better diet and exercise, it could be hereditary cholesterol. So you are going to be on that cholesterol medicine the rest of your life because you don't stop taking it because your cholesterol is within normal range. Your cholesterol is in normal range because you're taking medicine every day. So anyways, if you didn't catch yesterday's live, go find it, the January 20th podcast at Sarah from Texas, or on the YouTube, Wagovi 0.25 is what I was chatting about. But anyways, let's get into it. I love chatting reality TV. I did watch the whole Big Fat Nothing sandwich called 90 Day Fiancé Part 2 Tell All on Sunday, but I will talk about it for one. Okay, for right now, I'm going to say that Justin Bieber, I don't believe you that you got hacked. I do not know what's going on with you and your sweet little wife, Haley, your little 5-month-old baby. I guess there's been rumors of, yes, we're definitely going to chat about that. And I just texted Jeff anyways, and he texted me back. See, he texts me back. I don't know why he doesn't text all the other chumps back. He always texts me back. Anyways, so yes, we will definitely talk about that. Sadly. Justin Bieber, I don't believe that you were hacked. I don't believe that somebody is going to hack your Instagram and like, oh, let's go unfollow his wife. And that's all they're going to do to you. Like, what? Every time someone does something stupid, they're like, they just delete it and then move on, right? If I were hacked and they did something stupid like that, I'd be like, oh my God, let's find this person. Why did they do that? Why, all these things. No. I sadly do wonder if something's going on in their marriage, but worse than that, why are you out unfollowing your wife and the mother of your baby boy? Like, what? Is that the way you like, you made me mad. You didn't do my laundry. I'm going to unfollow you on Instagram. I mean, like, what? So I don't know. I don't believe it, but there's really nothing else going on besides Spencer Pratt ignoring me. He put out a request for ads for businesses to collab with him and pay him a week or so ago. And, I'm not huge, but I reached out to him. I'm like, I'll give you some money to, do a little collab. And he usually DMs me back with like a thumbs up or little hearts or something. Anyways, I know he's busy. So anyways, if you feel like tagging Spencer Pratt, being like, hey, we'd love a tiny little collab with you and Sarah from Texas, reach out to her. But other than that, there's really not much going on. Obviously, people are still dealing with the fire. Sadly, there was somebody, I think they've been arrested, that set a fire. Was it yesterday or the day before? Chaz Dean was videoing it. He had seen it behind his house before the firefighters even got there. But that was arson, and they did catch and arrest that person. So other than that, I don't really. Justin Baldoni are still dealing with their sexual harassment stuff. Don't know what's going on with that. Obviously, the inauguration was yesterday. Wendy Williams apparently went on quite a few either phone interviews or, nothing was in person, which is fine. She would want hair and makeup because she is, how you doing, Wendy Williams? And, probably those assholes won't let her have hair and makeup in the facility that they're keeping her in. Anyways, but I do hope something gets done. It does sound like somebody in Congress or Senate or somebody, one of those whatever people, are looking into at least getting her visitors. Like, what the hell is going on with not allowing her visitors, right? We will start taking phone calls at the end of the show. Ask me anything, 713-489-8488. Until then, what's happened with Justin Bieber? Oh, I don't know. I think he and his wife are going through it. So who knows? Um, yes, the new Kim and Croy, Mabu says exactly, exactly. I mean, not really. I saw the movie. Raquel says, "Did you ever discuss about the Blake and Justin drama?" No, I don't really understand it all, but I did. I mean, we no one knows the facts but them, right? I did see the movie. Think it's an excellent movie. They have really good on-screen chemistry. I have seen the text that Justin put out. I mean, facts are facts. I'm going to look at a text and be like, she is saying, "Hey, I'm pumping. I'm in my trailer. Come in. We'll run through lines whenever." I mean, I don't know. Maybe someone's leaving something out, but something else is going on for this $400 million lawsuit. So obviously, it'll probably never go to trial. I don't know whose career is going to last, but she is married to Ryan Reynolds. So there's that. You know what I mean? Okay. Andy Cohen Live was back today with John. John announces that he's going to live in New York City at least for 3 weeks next month. So February 1st through the 21st, he's got a sublet in New York City. I am super excited because I just feel like he's itching to be in New York City. But as a fan, as a listener to Andy Cohen Live, I much prefer them being in the studio. I mean, they vibe better. I think when you've got that half-second delay, when you're not in the same, thing together, they get to spend commercial breaks together. Maybe they can have lunch, maybe they can have dinner together. So I am super excited for it. Yes, and that was shocking. We'll definitely talk about that. Sherry says that Jeff says he's wanting to move to New York City and he thinks Gage might be in on it, but he's got to see if their daughter Monroe is okay with it because she loves her school. So that was interesting. Although we've heard him tease about buying an apartment for when he's in New York City, because, that would just be an investment. But I don't know that he needs to be owning 3 things. He hasn't announced officially. I mean, he announced it and then kind of took it, Andy Cohen kind of made him take it back. The Flipping Out 2.0 show. Like apparently it's not been sold. And if it has now been sold since they last updated us, they have not told us. So, and they're certainly not filming. So anyways, it's his money. What do I know? But I think it makes sense for him to just, have these 2 places in LA and maybe not own a place in New York City right now. So I don't know, unless it's a down time in the market, you know what I mean? Which I act like I learned something from $1 Million Listing New York. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. Kimberly Joy says Justin Baldovi is only showing the text prior to the creepy behavior. He's disgusting. So I don't, and 2 things can be true. He can be disgusting and I don't know. I don't know all the, that's why I'm not really talking about because I don't really know all the facts. Anyways, S. Maz says, better getting Spencer to respond to you if you also ask for his wife, Heidi. Oh, I think she's busy taking care of their kids while he's on TikTok all the dang time. He's on TikTok a lot, y'all. And I feel like Heidi is more just, I feel like he really wants to be, I feel like she's more resigned to not the spotlight, but she just like supports him that that's what he wants to do and how he makes their money. And then he supports her with her music career and, obviously be a mom. So anyways, yeah, Christina says how often Jeff goes to New York is a factor too. Now I wrote this down. We're going to talk about Andy Cohen's soon. I'm going to have to use code words. Did he say he's going to in New York City February 9th through 15th? That's probably the longest trip he's ever done. Like that's a long time. I assume he's able and willing to do that now that he's on the week on, week off custody schedule with Monroe. So he doesn't have to deal with that. But that's a long time for him to be in New York. Okay, so on Andy Cohen Live this morning, they're talking about Andy's day yesterday, how he spent his Martin Luther King day off. He obviously he's not a big Trump fan. He did not want to watch the inauguration. So he hung out with his bestie, Amy Sedaris, and they smoked like doobies all day long, he said. Like they just got high and hung out and he got a massage. He went out to dinner. Ben cut his hair with his own hair with some scissors. And I'm like, he's 5. Of course he cut his hair with some scissors. You know what I mean? Like I've definitely had some kids do that, whether I knew about whether they fessed up to it or not, right? But he said he had to go get the haircut fixed, and it's like a mullet, or not a mullet, buzz cut is what he said, a buzz cut. So maybe he'll show it to us eventually. I don't really know. Yeah, that's just a full week. But I think normally he would go on like a fly out like on a Wednesday and do like Thursday, Friday, and then fly back Saturday. I feel like this is the longest trip that he's done in New York City. Even when I was in New York for the 2023 BravoCon, is that the one it was? 2022 BravoCon in New York City. Jeff wasn't there well, he might have been there the whole week then, because he could interview all those housewives, but that's kind of a big deal for BravoCon, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I would think so. Oh, yes. Jen Helen says, I wonder if Jeff will be going back on Watch What Happens Live. I would assume so. I mean, he's literally one of the top, even though he lives in LA and Watch What Happens films in New York City, he is one of the guests that's been on the most often on Watch What Happens Live. So I think he's always huge. Wait, what? Alert for free? Lisa in Kentucky says every season of wasn't there 10 seasons or 11? Every season of Flipping Out is on demand on Spectrum. Wow. Because a lot of people say they can find it sometimes. Oh, thank you, Mary Kate. I literally was brushing my teeth. I just was lazy in my pajamas all day, took a nap, stayed up way too late. As you know, I was waiting for the snow. I was making some podcast clips from yesterday's podcast. I just stayed up way too late. Totally fell asleep in the middle of the day and had to get up, wash my face. So I don't even have moisturizer on this crap. I usually get dry spots here and a dry spot there, but I didn't even have time for moisturizer. I put on some lipstick. So, yes, remember Brittany and Julie started doing that. Kimberly J said, should we all binge Flipping Out together? Yeah. We could start a Flipping Out chat on the Sarah from Texas Facebook group. That would be a fun place to start. You know what I mean? Charlotte. Oh, Christine says Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds officially moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. Is that where Charlotte is? Anyways, okay. If you saw my video and my stories, I had bought some chairs off of Living Spaces, having nothing to do with supporting or not supporting Jeff Lewis from the Flipping Out of it all Living Spaces debacle. They were the color that I wanted. Everything is so gray, and my house isn't gray. My house is very traditional. It's just not gray like everyone. It's not modern. So finding recliners that were the color scheme I wanted, not leather, because everything wants to be leather, and power recliners, and that look like, chairs more than recliners. I just quickly found some on Living Spaces. They were going to deliver to me on Wednesday. And I thought, you know what? We're going to have bad weather Tuesday today. Tomorrow's great again. But I already knew that our schools had canceled Tuesday and Wednesday. So I called yesterday morning and I said, hey, I am going to change my Wednesday delivery to pickup. I'm going to go to your store, to your distribution center, and pick them up. All the communication's been great so far. Like I said, I bought them online, bought them on the phone. Everything was great. I guess they didn't make a note that I was coming to pick them up, because I got there 9 minutes after they decided to close an hour early, I guess in preparation for the storm. But one of the things I'm upset about is that, the sales staff next door, all of them were sitting around working. Like if this was a Living Spaces thing, which, trust me, the freeways I took the entire 40-minute drive each way to get there and back, every restaurant, every store, there's no salt. I mean, we're not preparing like that. I mean, this was Houston, but not like north where you get really bad, whatever. But it was 7 p.m. Like nothing had started happening yet. Anyways, it wasn't supposed to happen until 1 or 2 in the morning at the earliest. They were nice, but it was just a bunch of runaround. They said, oh, go talk to this manager. Then he's like, well, I'm not the manager. I sell mattresses. I'm like, okay, well, why'd they send? Just kind of a little bit of the runaround. Anyways, I switched it. They absolutely would not put them in my husband's truck. They said there's nobody over at the distribution center, even though I saw people. I mean, it was just a mess. But anyways, I had a little Karen moment. They will be delivered on Thursday. Life is good. I just had a moment, and all is well. Okay. Let's chat 90 Day Fiance, tell all part 2. Niles, I don't think they talk enough about how expensive it is to get the K1 visa. Hold on, my daughter's got a sleepover here. We have no school today or tomorrow. So she's got a friend and they're giggling. So, what was I saying? How much they talk about how expensive these K1 visas or spousal visas are to come over and all the paperwork. A lot of times, probably the paperwork is kind of confusing. Some people hire an attorney to get it right and make sure everything goes through. Apparently, the U.S. is very, wait, what? Have you been married before? Wait, Nick James, the K1 visa is expensive. I went through it. Were you going to bring someone over, or were you coming from another country? I know you live in Puerto Rico. Okay. Niles needs $4,000 more to bring Matilda back over to the U.S. So they're married, but living apart, which kind of makes me sad. Adnan was I think he just wanted more than his 10 seconds of fame. Like, him and Tiger Lily's story was done. They have kind of a non-story. I mean, they're married. They have a baby. They're living together in Texas. She isn't converting to Muslim. He is fine with that, I guess. She's dressing more, covered up because she just had a baby 6 weeks ago and she's just trying not to whatever. They're fine. So I don't think they were going to spend much time on them. It comes to Niles and Matilda's time to talk, and he's just barking like a little chihuahua. He was so freaking annoying. And yet he's very controlling over Tiger Lily, which is fine if that's the marriage she wants. But it's interesting that she claims she was married to a very control freak, the first husband, and now she's married to Adnan. Some little 23-year-old boy telling me what to do. I'd be like, oh, hell no. I'm 41 years old, a mother of 2. Hello. Anyways, although she sounds like a 4-year-old with her voice. Yeah, Tiffany Chump says he was really acting his age. But didn't it seem fake? Didn't he even say, like, he had no beef at all with Niles? Like, what beef would he have with Niles? You know what I mean? It was just gross. Oh, but how do I do that, Nick James? I have to give you the link. Give me I wish they had a thing. Invite. Oh, give me a second. Look at me figuring this out. Oh, look at this. Oh, okay. I'm going to put the link in here. I'm copying, paste. Okay. Okay. Here's the link. Okay. We can start doing that. Instead of phone calls, we can bring you up to chat like I did with Susan Olsen yesterday when we chatted about the weight loss shots. Okay, I'll do it in just a second. Let me get this thought off my brain. He needs $4,000 more to bring her over. That's a lot of money because he doesn't make a lot of money. So I'm not really sure when they're going to end up being together. Magna seems like she just wants to be engaged to Joey. Joey, I think, is taking it a little bit slow. It was a very boring episode. I guess they have one more. They usually do 3 tell-alls. They usually show like a behind the scenes. They show them at the bar the night before, like with Angela and what happens. Very interesting. Oh, look at Nick in New Jersey, Puerto Rico. Okay. Hey, Jude, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, your tank top is making me think of the guy on the airplane that Joey said.
I saw him post that in his stories. That guy was hot.
Oh, was he?
Yes.
They did it, didn't they? There was penetration.
Oh, I'm sure.
Illegal penetration. I had no idea. Okay, tell us, remind us who you are, because I know you as the first person that when you called on to get dating advice from Patty Stanger, and then we started DMing with each other.
Yeah, so that's sorry, there's like a little bit of an echo.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't hear it on my end, so everything sounds fine.
I'm going to turn my volume down just a little bit. Yeah, so I love Patty, and so I called in, and that's actually how I found Jeff, because I love Patty, and I saw that she was going to be on the show, and So here we are 3 years later, I guess it's been.
Well, aren't you a unicorn? So wait a minute. You are such a fan of Patty Stanger, and that's how you found Jeff Lewis. Most people bitch and moan when she comes on. That's interesting to me.
I love Patty and I loved her.
Okay.
So anyways, my previous relationship is kind of how I ended up in Puerto Rico. I had met this guy when I lived in Idaho. He was from Guatemala. He was working for a company that was doing a joint venture. There was some issues, like we had been dating for like a year. There was some issues with his work visa, and so he didn't get deported, but one of the times that he was traveling back and forth between Guatemala and Idaho, he got detained, and they said, we'll let you in, but you need to get this visa situation figured out, because he was essentially staying longer on his work
Yeah.
visa than what he should have been.
Right.
And so, anyways, when he had to go back to Guatemala, I went to visit him over Christmas and New Year's. It would have been December 2017.
Okay.
And so then when I went to visit him, he proposed to me. We were engaged. And it was like this whole thing. We didn't know how long it was going to be till I saw him again, unless I went
Right.
back to see him.
Yeah.
Because of the work visa thing. Well, his employer said, we're tired of dealing with this work visa issue. And so he lost his job, but had been
Oh.
working with an immigration attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, are you in a relationship? And he's like, well, yeah, actually I'm engaged. And we hadn't even really talked about going down the K1 visa, because he was planning on being here for work anyways.
Okay.
But yeah, so we went through the whole K1 visa thing. We were 2 months away from having our approval. We interviewed to be on 90 Day Fiancé.
Wow.
They hadn't yet had a same-sex couple
Oh,
on the
okay.
show.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, but yeah, it's expensive. It was, I think it was right around $5,000, but the paperwork is insane. I had to show travel documents that I had gone there to see him.
Right.
We had to provide photos, and then like the interview process that you go through. Just because you get approved, you still have to like do an in-person interview. Because they're like checking to see if it's legit,
Yeah.
like they want to know, oh, you're really with this person.
Yeah.
What kind of underwear do they wear? What are their habits? Like they get personal in the questions.
Wow.
So it's crazy. But we ended up splitting up 2 months before we had our approval. It's a unique situation. I'm still friends with the guy.
Oh, good.
I love him to death. I always will. Obviously nothing crazy shady about it, but it was just a situation. Trump had also just been elected and was changing immigration stuff, so that was slowing things down.
Oh.
And he had, after he lost his job here in the States, he started a new company in Guatemala and was going to have to give that up to come back.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, it was just like he didn't want to start over again for the fourth time.
Well, it all happened for a reason. Now, are you still with this great guy in New York City?
I am. I'm not sure when I'm going to go back yet. I usually go every other month, maybe every 2 months for 2 to 3 weeks. So,
okay. Maybe this is what the Dallas guy Ty will end up doing with Jeff.
I've called in a couple times and told Jeff that that's what he should do, because he has Monroe as a priority. So there's a week on, week off. There's no reason that he can't do it.
Yeah. I just wonder if it's going to work for this guy Ty. Like maybe it does. Maybe he travels for work. You don't know. Maybe I don't think he said he has kids, right?
I don't think so.
He hasn't said much about it.
But Jeff goes there to Dallas anyways to see Leah Black. So it's not it's feasible that it could work for them,
Yeah.
even if the guy, because
Yeah.
there were times that I went for just like a long 4-day weekend to
Yeah.
New York also.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for calling in.
yeah, of course.
I'll see you later.
All right, see ya.
Bye, Nick. Oh, that's fun. Okay, so that link, if you just click on, I'll just start adding that link every time. I wish there was a way to pin it. There's not a way to pin it, which is kind of weird. Oh, well, I put it there. Does that help? Anyways, okay, I put it there if that helps. Anyways, I love 90 Day Fiancé. I've learned so much. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. -20s for days now. Woo. Okay, let's talk today's Jeff Lewis live. Good. Raquel says I like bringing them up on video better than the call-ins. Me too. And I love seeing somebody, so it's always fun. Anyway, so y'all click that link if you want to. It's kind of like a Zoom, like nobody gets notified that you're on live with me. It's kind of like a Zoom, but it's through a company called StreamYard. So anyways, okay, so today Todrick Hall was back on with Joey Zauzig. Remember, they were on together, so they know each other from Real Friends of West Hollywood. So I kind of like when they're on together. Why are they? I got confused because early in the show, they're talking about this trip to New York City and how Annie and Kian are getting Delta One, super fancy. They're getting their outfits together for what they're going to dress. But why'd she get a spray tan if they're not going until February 9th? Like, that is a solid 2 weeks away. Like, 2.5 weeks away. I don't really know. Was Jeff talking about a Texas chump? I don't know, but I will tell you he's not talking about me because I texted him and he said, no, absolutely not. It's not you. We are good, was the text he sent me. So we are good. Which I knew because I know I don't email. I know I don't make anyone uncomfortable. I know I don't, I'm not scary. I know I don't do anything. What I'm well aware of is that people can make up fake things about me and tell him or other chumps. So anyways, we do have a boundary and an agreement that if he has any issues or any concerns to contact me first before going on the radio about it. You know what I mean? And because clearly he's been given false information before that he vomited out on his radio show about me, which, almost exactly this time last year, literally, if y'all know, January 2024 was a whole shit show. My Sarah from Texas live event in LA was January 20th. I know y'all know I'm weird with dates. On January 12th, he said some stuff and basically alluded on the radio some awful things about me that were not true. Then on January 19th, I'm on my plane coming over with a bunch of chumpettes and we're hanging out and all this stuff and hadn't listened to the show. And they're like, Jeff is talking about you. And that was the whole Margaret Josephs thing, whatever Margaret and not Lizzie. What is her assistant's name? My brain went blank. Lover, blonde. Anyways, about the marketing of the show and all that stuff. So anyways, we've since talked and all that. We have an agreement to talk about things before he goes on the radio because, that stuff was false and it really hurt me emotionally, but it really made people second guess me and think, oh my God, she is a fake. Oh my God, maybe she is scary. And I'm like, no. Okay. But I don't know why Annie's getting a spray tan. They talked a lot about Jeff crying and Joey was saying that he was crying on a movie and on the airplane. And Jeff was like, I mean, I don't really cry a lot. And then somebody said, or Joey said, and Todrick, I would kind of like to see you cry, Jeff. And I'm like, huh. It's one of those people like growing up, my dad was born in the late 40s, ex-Marine, 6'5", blue collar, worked at a Chevron, chemical plant, golfer, bowler. I mean, very outdoors guy, very man's man. I can't think of any times he cried growing up. Now I lost him at 54 to cancer, so I lost him way early. But I can't think of many times I saw my dad cry. It just wasn't a thing. So to think of Jeff Lewis crying, I was like, just kind of crazy. Why? That's interesting. Linda says, I think Fan Social is going to be a big liability, but I think they have all the legal stuff in. I mean, Jeff's been doing these I can tell you, at least from my experience, I mean, I know who I am. And when Melanie and Scott invited me to come along as a guest to their $10,000 dinner in New York City, I mean, they, I don't know, Melanie dealt with all that with his attorney. Like she had all the whatever. And we just Ubered there together and met him and then left our separate ways. I mean, there was no like, we're at a public restaurant, but I guess if anyone wants to do anything crazy, they can do something crazy. I don't really know. Um, that's true. Tiffany Crump said Jeff Lewis cried on Flipping Out when Monkey passed away. It was so sad. You're right. You're right. He loves his cats and dogs, except Chris. I don't think he really liked Chris. I think he was ready for Chris to pass away. Okay. Joey brings up very proudly that he just joined the Mile High Club for the first time. And then as soon as the reaction didn't go well, he starts backtracking. And then they bring up that it's illegal, which I didn't know. Kind of makes sense because you don't want to, it kind of makes sense, even if it is in a bathroom. Those bathrooms are not intended for two grown ass adults, effing it out. So, and getting spuge everywhere, So I guess it makes sense for it to be illegal, but he really backtracked. I think he absolutely had penetration. Absolutely some illegal things were going on that airplane for sure. He was definitely lying. And then he kept saying, well, for legal reasons, we didn't have sex. I'm like, okay. And it was kind of weird. They talked a lot about DeBarbara. So we knew last week that Ty, his Dallas boyfriend, was coming in for 4 nights to spend with him. We knew they had plans to go to DeBarbara. I think just the two of them. I'm not really sure. And then at the same time, and overlapping, Doug Buden and Jameson and a friend of theirs, maybe Rick, was that his name, had plans to go there. It's a very small restaurant. Also, there were other chumps. So I assume he means chump listeners. I'm not really sure, like fans of the show. Not really sure. So can you imagine like sitting there and being like, I mean, they're going in hopes to see a chump. But can you imagine going and being like, oh my God, we got Jeff, we got his man from Dallas, Ty, we got Doug Buden, we got Jameson, like, wait, no, Shane and Brogan were on double dating with them, right? Crazy. You know what? I have heard of that. Andy Cohen talked about it on his show. Tiffany Chump says there's a plane in Las Vegas that's called the Mile High, and you buy like 30 minutes to an hour, and they have a bed, and you go up there just to have sex. I have heard of that. That's crazy. Not my thing. Not my thing. I know, effing it out. I mean, bang. Oh, Sherry says if it was legal, hookers would. Hookers is such an old school word. I love it. Hookers would board those Spirit flights and conduct business. Oh my God. I love that. Yes. So they kind of ended the show talking about New York, but that's a long time. Didn't really say much about it. So February 9th through 15th, if you want to book a New York City coffee, drinks, a $10,000 dinner with him in New York City, February 9th through 15th, go to fansocial.co. Also, that's where you want to register so you get the first dibs at buying the tickets to ChumpCon, which is April 11th through 13th. Today was the first time I heard him say, I think it was the end of the second hour, that if they don't get this contract or whatever they're waiting on in order so they can put out the ticket link to sell, he's going to delay it because he's like, look, this is already January. I need to give people time to make plans and book a flight and book a hotel and buy the ticket. You can't just do these things last minute. So that was the first time I'd heard him mention, because we know when he announced it, January 6th, he said in 14 days, the tickets will go on sale. Well, that was yesterday and a national holiday, so no radio. He did verify again that the VVIP, which gets you into every event, which is 7 or 8, it is the Saturday night live show. It's the Friday night welcome drinks or whatever. The Friday night karaoke, the Saturday daytime pool party hosted by Joey. What else is there? I mean, every chump that comes on is inviting himself. I mean, even Todrick was like, what dates? I know I'm inviting myself, but he's like, oh, well, we've got it in the budget. I'm like, this budget is going to be gone if you have to end up putting all these chumps in a hotel room and food and flying them to Las Vegas. Like, what are they going to do? Say, you can come and be a part of it, but maybe I think he said like 20 to 21 chumps would be included and paid. But there's a lot more that keep saying we want to come because they know this is Chump Con. I mean, this is like fan central. This is, I mean, like Zach Noe Towers, all the people know that they have chumps that show up there at their events because of the Jeff Lewis live show. So they definitely want to do that. I know. I don't think my husband would be up for no, especially a plane filled with normal people. Nick James says, no way I'd be able to perform. Yeah, I think, we're past our, I don't know. I just don't think we care about being a part of the Mile High Club, but definitely if we had to walk into a bathroom in front of people, my husband would never in like, we won't get into details, but no, I don't think that would be, I think we'd be too intimidated for sure. Wait, about what? Tiffany Chump says, poor Shane probably has many panic attacks every time Jeff talks about inviting more people to this, to ChumpCon. Okay, the second hour was Ben and Ronnie from Watch What Crappens Live. Naya gives us an update. She is a girlfriend. Her boyfriend went all out, asked her, did it officially, the I love yous. They banged it out all weekend. He called in sick to work yesterday. I mean, my. I mean, she went from like, this guy's like wasn't she in like a situationship where she didn't feel like the guy was whatever? And I think it's all going better now. So anyways, now she's got a dude. Okay. So Ben and Ronnie, I've met them. I have been to one of their live shows. So my girlfriend is a big fan of Watch What Crappens. And on May 2022, we went and saw them here in Houston. It's not my jam. But if you're a Ronnie and Ben Watch What Crappens Live fan, then it's fun. I just personally, to me, it sounded like they stood up there, sat at a table, talked about Buc-ee's, driving around Texas and Austin and what have you, kind of updated his day, like he said on the radio today. And then they went into this live podcast, no question and answers, really no audience interaction, no time for the audience to get to know each other. I mean, it wasn't my thing, but clearly they're super popular. There's going to be 17 to 20 different cities they have. So I think you go to watchwhatcrappens.com. I think if not, go to Ronnie and Ben's Instagrams. Always. Yeah. Tiffany Chumps says Jeff always giving out the info before it's ready to be talked about. I mean, how many times have he said, we're going to do a New Jersey live event. We're going to do a Nashville live event. We're going to do a Chicago live event. We're going to do a Dallas live event. We're going to do a San Antonio live. I mean, it's just like everyone gets their hopes up and then it just kind of dies out and he quits talking about it. I'm like, I know. Bye, Christina. Make sure y'all are hitting the thumbs up. Christina's number 17. So there are over 200 of us on here live. If every one of you go boop and hit the thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. Cost you nothing. It's just a kind thing to do. Oh, Linda says Justin Martindale's hosting a happy hour, like in person for the $10 Patreon members. Oh, maybe a Zoom this Friday. Ooh, I bet that'll be juicy. A couple of y'all have listened to his $10 Patreon where he gives his side of Chump virus. I won't go into all the details because clearly it's behind his paywall and I have not listened to it personally. It does sound like he thinks there's a little bit of hope because Jeff Lewis has kind of stopped talking about him. He thinks that there's maybe some hope for I don't know, future personal, professional, whatever. Okay. 41 minutes into the last hour, Jeff asks Ronnie and Ben, hey, you've been doing this a long time. You've had this podcast over 12 years. We kind of have a similar audience. They watch Bravo. They're probably mostly women. The fans, we get close to them. I consider a lot of them friends. He started saying a lot of similar stuff that he said about me on radio this time a year ago. And before I had finished the show, somebody had DM'd me and said, what is this emails he's talking about? Is he talking about you? I'm like, emails? Like, I don't email with Jeff. Like, I don't think I've ever emailed any one of them. I don't even know how I would have the anyways. And I was like, I'm delayed. So when I finally listened to it, I have to admit, I knew it wasn't me, but the back of my brain, trauma, I went back to last year and I was like, "Oh my gosh, is he talking about me? Like, have somebody made up some false emails or whatever, about me?" So I did text him and I said, "Hey, just hope you're not talking about me. People are asking me." He said, "Absolutely not. We are good." So that is the text message that I got from Jeff Lewis today. And it's not me. I don't know who it is. I can think of one person. I can think of a couple of people uh, that he might be talking about, but I have no idea. I hope it's nobody that I know and that I've become friendly with and hang out with. But more than that, I hope what he's saying is the truth and he's not misleading us, because he was very clear that it's somebody that has gone to their live events multiple times. It's making him very uncomfortable. They've crossed boundaries. It's getting a little bit scary, he said, a little bit threatening. He said this person might have his phone number, might have his email, and they're bothering other chumps. The emails have become scary. It almost sounded like when he deferred to Shane to give more details, it sounded like Shane thought it was under control. But I don't know how you make sure, except for security, or look at the guest list, who buys a ticket and make sure that person doesn't buy a ticket. Or and at some point, maybe you have to get a restraining order where that person legally can't be within certain amount of space from you or contact you or whatever. But wait, what? Why are so many people in Texas racist then? Who are you? Like what? Um, anyways, Deja Monet says, I can understand going back if Jeff was a longtime friend, but I would feel so uncomfortable getting back into that situation if I were Justin. I mean, yeah. And then knowing how his boyfriend Evan called and took up for him. And, I mean, it got down and dirty real quick for sure. But anyways, I don't know who he's talking about, but nobody wants, I mean, I do understand, and Ronnie and Ben said this, we've had people that crossed a line, people that were like friend requesting, my brother-in-law, things like that. Keep it simple, really. If you're a fan of somebody, if they have a public Instagram, then do that. If they give you their cell phone number, be very respectful of it. You can still DM them, which to me is the more respectful way of whatever. Now, I didn't DM Jeff, because I wanted to know instantly if he was talking about me or not. I'm like, this is not me, but if you're talking about me like this, somebody is absolutely making up some bad shit about me. And, so I just kind of wanted to know what was going on with that. I don't know. Somebody's got your thoughts. Who said Sarah Fraser? What are y'all talking about? My heart jumped. That stuff gives me anxiety. Anyways, well, we have like 10 or 11 minutes. What do you want to chat about? Does anybody want to come up? Does anyone want to call in? 713-489-8488. I do like the option of y'all pushing the button and coming up on video. And you don't have to put your video on. You can put the camera up to the whatever. So just let me know if you like that option or not. I'm going to try to get my banner right. Oh, I need to delete that. Anyways, okay. Mayboo says, "Oh, Sarah, you shouldn't feel that way. You're a good person. If he knows you like we do, he'd never think it was you." But I go back to last year this time where I thought he knew me. He's met me multiple times. I've never said or done anything in person, in a DM, to him, to any chumps, nothing. I've never crossed boundaries. I've always bought a public ticket to anything he's at. I've never showed up to something that I knew he was going to be at that I didn't let him know I was coming first or bought a ticket to. So, he keeps me on my toes, right? But yeah, so I don't know who he's talking about. But I do feel like that is a tricky line with Jeff because exactly what Shane said, and I've told y'all this, Jeff has this reputation of being kind of an asshole, right? He's absolutely not. He's very charismatic in person. He can make everyone feel like he is into you. He's not looking over your shoulder. He's not on his phone. He's not twiddling. He's not, doing his chapstick. When we had that $10,000 dinner, he literally, I don't even know that any of us got up and went to the bathroom. The 5 of us sat there for 3.5 hours together, just chatting the whole time. It was truly, really fun. I mean, he can really, make a conversation with anyone, which is why he's so successful, right? Nick James says, do you think it's someone he had a falling out with? I mean, clearly, and I know of how do I say this? I know of at least a fan that he's had sort of a falling out with and kind of on again, off again relationship. So I do know some things for sure. I don't know if it's that person. I have no idea. So I don't know who it is, and I didn't ask in the text. Not that I would tell you all if he said, but I didn't ask. Okay, he said, I hate that they always assume and blame you. So they're probably DMing him. So that was what Jeff sent at 3:44. So 8 minutes ago, which is very true. So I thought it was a male when they spoke about it weeks ago. Did they talk about this weeks ago? Nurse M? I don't remember that. I don't remember that. But yeah, I think when he does things like that, it's just like the chump virus. He knows what he's doing. I do think he wants to be respectful and not call someone out. But when you're vague about it, it makes, just like that caller said, Jeff, just so you know, when you say these things, it makes everyone go, ooh. And of course, then I start getting the messages and the texts. And I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Emails? Because I was on a delay and I hadn't listened to it yet. So I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, but I think he's genuinely trying to protect the information. And I think eventually it just vomits out of his mouth. Lincoln the Golden says, does he think this is a way to keep listeners hanging on? I mean, I don't know. It certainly gets people talking, right? Because they started messaging me instantly. I haven't even checked all my DMs, but I had a text and I had a DM right at the top. You know what I mean? So anyways, but it makes me sad too. If Jeff Lewis has been famous for this long and he's like, 6'1", 6'2", muscular man, and he always has people around him, not that Shane would beat anyone up, but if he's literally, he used the word threatening, he used the words a little bit scary. I mean, I don't know what's going on. It sounded like scary emails, he said, bothering other chumps. I don't know. I don't ask. I just needed to make sure that he wasn't talking about me, because if that was the case, then that means people are making up fake crap about me again and then spewing that to the, and that's probably been one of the worst things about, having a fun fan account is that people will make up stuff just to put me in dirty water with people. And I'm like, let me shit on myself. Like, don't make things up for me. Let me be who I am. If I say or do things wrong, let me do that, but don't make up fake stuff about me. You know what I mean? Oh, is it that guy? Okay, Raquel says it's a guy he was DMing and now the guy won't stop. But is that a guy that goes to a bunch of live shows? Because I thought he said it was a guy that maybe he was trying to date, and Jeff basically was trying to be very nice and be like, we're just a friend situation. I don't know if that's the same guy or not. I have no idea. I'm sure he'll let us know eventually. Anyways, that's kind of how the show ended. What is tonight? Tonight is Tuesday. Is that New York City and Beverly Hills? And then tomorrow night, I think, is Salt Lake City and sold on Salt Lake City. Ooh, I'll definitely be chatting about those. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. I would really appreciate it. It costs you nothing. Oh, I have that TikTok is gone banner up. Sorry. Okay. I'm trying to picture. Okay. Take that off. Sorry. Okay. Oh, Married at First Sight is on tonight, Lisa said. Anyways. I got the best compliment from the guest that was on my podcast yesterday, Susan Olson, who was talking about her experience with the GLP-1s and everything. And she said that she had the YouTube pulled up and she was reading the comments and she was like, wow, like your people are so nice. They love each other. And I'm like, literally, we have the best people for sure. Are you watching the New York Selling the City? What is that? Is that a new show? It's obviously a real estate show in New York City. I don't know anything about it. God, I love New York City, and I love seeing fancy apartments that I could never in a million years afford. Is it the New York finale? I don't think so. Last week was Salt Lake City, so this week is the Salt Lake City. I don't think they're only a week apart, but I really, really can't remember. I really can't remember. Well, we have about 4 minutes left. If you are lucky enough to have a friend or a family that loves real estate, reality TV, Jeff Lewis Live, Bravo, all the things, please hit the share button that's at the bottom and send it to them. I would really appreciate it. If you are listening as a podcast, please scroll down and hit the 5-star rating and review. I would really appreciate it. And obviously make sure you're subscribed to me everywhere at Sarah from Texas Podcast. Nurse M says, I live in New York City. It's so expensive. Yeah. I would love, so years ago, a girlfriend and I were going to New York and we had, gosh, was it the W? We had a thing at the W, like one of the little boutique hotels. I think it was the W. I can't remember. We had a reservation there. The bed bugs, the story was all over the national news. Oh my God, New York is so bad. We panicked and we freaked out. Oh my God, we can't stay in New York. The bed bugs. So she worked with a guy whose aunt and uncle are, and I might be saying this wrong because this is forever ago, Hasidic Jews, where they leave the city on Friday and come back on Sunday night and they don't do electricity. They go somewhere else. So their apartment was free or open for us to stay in it. And it was so fun to stay in a real New York apartment. I mean, one of the places I've stayed at a couple times lately is called Radio City Apartments, right in Times Square. And they are apartments that used to be real apartments, but as people sell or pass away, I guess, whatever, they turn them into hotel rooms. So it still very much looks, I mean, the ceiling is gorgeous. It's got little stairs going up. I mean, tiny little elevators, like super old school, full kitchen. I love this place, Radio City Apartments. And it just feels like I'm staying in someone's apartment. And they have like 2 bedrooms too. So I love it. But yeah, I just loved having the opportunity to stay in someone's like real apartment. You know what I mean? So anyways, well, give me some subjects in comments if you don't mind. I will obviously keep doing Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern, the reality water cooler, but I think I'm going to add in some Ask Sarah from Texas podcasts. Whether those are live or not, I'm not really sure, but either way, they'll always go up as a replay and they'll always go up on the podcast at Sarah from Texas. So same place, same location. It'll just be other stuff that we're all interested in or a guest. It's just kind of hard to have a full-time guest on this hour. So anyways, stay safe, stay warm, everybody. And I will see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. Bye, Chumpats.